Guys, it just happened again. It just happened again. Look at this. I'm walking into the kitchen to show you the water bowls, and the door's open.
Stella, Splash, Simba, Boo, Sammy, Richard, Nancy, Goldie, Ziggy, Ringo, Eva, Hydrox, and Ditto, the Lucky Ferals.
It is 9:15 a.m. Here's Boo. The minute he saw me turn this camera on and pointed at him, then he got excited and he left the cat tower. Here's Sammy. Last night, I found out that Sammy is the cat that's been opening this door, this kitchen door. So it's happened about 3 times now where I'll shut this door like that. And what'll happen is it'll mysteriously get opened. So it happened 2 days ago when I took Simba to the animal hospital. I was sitting there for so long, I said, let me check the security cameras. And I noticed that the Lucky 7 were walking around upstairs. I was like, how does that happen when I put them downstairs with the door shut? So I couldn't figure that out. I thought, well, maybe I didn't shut the door. Like, I didn't know what was going on. So then yesterday, I put them downstairs because I'm ready to, give everyone dinner. And that's what I do. That's our routine. They go downstairs, I shut the door. And then the OG4 relax maybe 10, 15 minutes upstairs, 20 minutes, and then they get dinner. So I'm working on a video. I'm sitting on the couch working on my computer. And I hear someone scratching in the litter box. And I'm like, oh, that must be Splash because Boo and Simba were in the room with me. Here's Boo. Here's Splash. And then I heard someone eating some crunchies. So I was like, oh, that must be Splash. So I didn't think anything of it. But what happened was I get up to walk to the kitchen and I'm walking past Boo's room. And who do I see in Boo's room? Nancy. So the first thing I think is, oh, well, maybe she didn't go downstairs when all the cats went downstairs. Maybe she stayed upstairs. Then I walk into the kitchen and I see the doors open. And I'm like, I know I shut that door. And then I look and there's like Ringo's in my bedroom, Richard's in my bedroom, like 4 out of the 7 are upstairs walking around. So I was like, okay, that's really strange. Are they opening the door by themselves? So they go downstairs again and I shut the door. And then a short while later, I'm in the kitchen. I think I was refilling water bowls. And all of a sudden I hear like the door, like it's moving. And I was like, what's going on? So I look and it's Sammy. I could not figure out how Sammy was getting the door open. So I don't know. What happened after that is I shut the door again. Sammy was on the other side of it. Now I did hear her like scratching at it and pawing at it, but I don't know if she's actually like turning the doorknob. It's not a handle where they could just press down on the handle and open the door. It's a doorknob. And I do know that some cats can turn doorknobs, but I don't know if that's what she's doing. I don't know if she's climbing up on that screen door to get herself to the doorknob because she's the smallest cat in the house. And so what I also did was I put her underneath the doorknob and I picked up her paws and I like stretched her out like she's standing on her hind legs. She can't even reach the doorknob. So I don't understand. The only thing I could think is she's somehow climbing up the screen door and getting herself somewhere near the doorknob so then she could then turn it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. That's a mystery. I might have to put a camera on the other side of that door to see what's going on, what kind of attempts are being made. But that's something that happened last night. Another thing that happened last night is I found this feeder. It's really just like raised bowls. And I had a bunch of these like when Ditto was here because Ditto did really well eating out of these because it's like raised water, raised food, and it has a tray around the outside to catch all the spills. So I use these a lot with Ditto. At that time, I bought enough for every cat in the house. So I had 5 of these because I only had the OG4 at the time. The bowl on the right is the bowl that comes with it. It's kind of like a shallow bowl. The bowl on the left is another deeper bowl that I found. And I was like, oh, that'll be great for water. So the bowl on the left holds about 2.5 cups of water, and the bowl on the right, I put a few tablespoons of crunchies in it. And this was a test for the cats overnight. I actually put this in my room. Right now it's in Boo's room, but I had this in my room where I normally keep a water bowl. And I looked at the security cameras overnight, and Splash checked it out. He did not eat any of the food. He might have drank a few sips of water, but that was it. And then Boo visited this twice. He drank a little bit of water and walked out, but nobody gorged themselves on the dry cat food. So then this morning I was thinking about it, and I know that cats tend to do better when the water bowl is separated from the food bowls. Like, I never keep water and food right next to each other like they are now. Even when I use these for Ditto, I would put 2 bowls of food in this, and then I would make another one with 2 bowls of water. And for him, he was on wet food because he had a mouth issue. So I would put like 2 different flavors of wet food in these, and that way I gave him a choice of what to eat. So what I'm thinking of doing is putting this here in Boo's room, and taking the water bowl out of it, and then putting another food bowl in, and then just keeping 2 different types of dry cat food. That way the cats have a choice, because they don't always all like the same dry cat food, and seeing what happens, seeing if that helps Simba with his appetite and with his stomach issue. And then I'm going to keep the other water bowls that I have. I have 2 in the kitchen, 1 here, and 1 in my bedroom. What I actually might do is, guys, it just happened again. It just happened again. Look at this. I'm walking into the kitchen to show you the water bowls, and the door's open. Who is opening this, and how are they doing it? Look, that's shut. You can't just push it. You can't just push it. And here's Sammy. I know it's Sammy. Go ahead, Sammy. If you hear a bug in the background, it's a video downstairs of a bug for cats. These are the 2 water bowls that I have in the kitchen, and no one's really been using them since Stella passed away. Stella used to use these all the time. So I have one that's a footed bowl, so it's like a raised water bowl, and then I have the other one which is lower. So I'm thinking of maybe only having 1 water bowl here, and maybe putting some wet food here for the cats to nibble on. Let's take a look at what's going on downstairs. So these are 2 automatic feeders that I put some crunchies in last night before I went to bed, and I set them to go off 2 hours apart. So this one was supposed to go off at like 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m., and they probably had a little bit less than a tablespoon of crunchies in each one, but there's 7 cats down here. So I figured, I was hoping that it was not going to be a situation where 1 cat was going to eat all of them. I thought if they wanted to snack on it, they could. The reason why is because we are still experimenting to see, what happens if we try to leave more dry food out for the cats. Will they gorge less, or will they gorge more? And all the food's gone, but I don't know who ate it. So I'm going to have to repeat this with the camera pointed at that to see like who is doing what. Also, I did not give them like the same amount of crunchies that I would normally give them. So normally at night they get their dinner, and they get a spoon of crunchies with their dinner. Then if everyone eats their food, a little while later they'll each get another spoon of crunchies, and that's dry cat food. And then sometimes if they're still restless and hungry, I'll give them a little bit more. Now, they don't always eat their breakfast. So usually that happens on a day where they don't eat their breakfast. So I just want to make sure that everyone is satisfied, because if they're not satisfied, then it's hard to sleep because they're banging on the door for food, especially Nancy. So that's why we're trying this out. So last night they got their food with a spoon of crunchies. After that, they get another spoon of crunchies, but they were still hungry. So then I opened a can of cat food, some wet cat food. I split that 7 ways. Then they had that. And I was like, okay, guys, that's it. That's it for the night. And then I put a little bit of crunchies in the feeders. And as we could see, they ate all of the crunchies. And here's Sammy's new spider. She's been carrying it all around with her down here. It's 11:30 a.m. and Boo has decided he doesn't want to eat his breakfast. Here's his breakfast. He actually ate part of it. Maybe he ate a quarter of it or a third of it. But now he is eating some baby food. It's some beef baby food. I mixed in some warm water. He ate half the jar, so I just gave him the other half of the jar. Now, Boo does have an appointment with the vet in about 2 days. Hopefully, I'll be able to get him in a carrier and there will not be any issues. I just want to have him checked out. So I know what's going on with him. Now that I know exactly what's going on with Simba, I would like to know exactly what's going on with Boo. Good job, Boo. Want to eat the rest? Here, you're not done. You want to finish this? Want to put it here? Want to eat it there? Or you want it back up here? Here. You done? Want to finish? Look at what's going on here. So I just saw Richard eating the dry cat food out of the bowl on the right. I'm going to have to make sure to put more in there before this afternoon, because this is really to help Simba get through the day without vomiting. There's Goldie. Meanwhile, everyone down here hardly ate their breakfast. I don't know why, but I would safely assume it's because of those automatic feeders with a little bit of dry food in them. This is why I really can't leave dry food out down here for the Lucky 7, because if I do, then they don't eat their food at all. Now, Simba ate about half of his breakfast, but then I gave him the other half to work on, so he might have finished it. I have to check on him. But what I do is I leave this food out for maybe another half hour, and then if no one eats it, I just put it in a container and they're going to get it for dinner, because that's what happens. Sometimes there are some days where they don't eat their breakfast. If I collect it up and serve it to them for dinner, then they eat it. 7 portions of food will actually, a few are partially eaten. So let's say there's still about 6 portions of food down here. That's a lot of food to waste. So something else really interesting happened yesterday. So this is the fence in the back of my yard. It goes along like the side of my yard and then the back of my yard. This is the corner in the back. And this is always where all the wildlife and the cats and everything, they'd go underneath the fence, because it used to be that the yards on both sides of the fence, like the yards on the other side of each fence, they used to be just not kept up. Like they were just grown wild, and, maybe the lawns were mowed occasionally, but most of the rest of the yard was just totally overgrown, like hedges and trees and stuff like that. And what's happened over the past few years is new people have moved in and they've completely, torn out so much, especially the yard in that direction. This direction, they've cleaned out their yard. And then this direction, really cleaned everything out. So it's like a day and night difference. It's completely different than how it was a few years ago with the older videos, with all the raccoons and the possums and the squirrels and the wildlife, having a wildlife trail through the back of the yard. So it's completely different. So what happened the day that Simba was in the animal hospital was that my doorbell rang, and it rings on my cell phone also, so I could kind of see who it is, but I didn't get to it in time. And by the time I looked at the video, it was after they had already left the door, and I realized that it was my next door neighbors. So I was like, that's weird. What's going on? Did they lose their dog? What's happening? So I didn't find out until later that evening when I got home that they left a note. They wanted to talk to me about their fence. Now, they only have a really old chain link fence. It's about 3 feet high. It's broken in places. So I'm thinking to myself, well, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. So I finally spoke to them last night, and what they want to do is they actually want to take down this part of the fence, the part of the fence between my yard and their yard. They want to take that down, and they want to put a new fence up. Now, the new fence is going to be a white fence like this one. This is dirty because it needs to be cleaned. But they're going to put a new white fence. It's going to be solid, 6 feet tall, which is going to be nice, because this one with the lattice, even though it looks pretty, does not provide as much privacy as if the fence was just solid all the way up. And what it's also going to do is it's actually going to extend my yard by another foot. Now, this fence was in this yard when I bought the house, so I didn't put up the fence. The previous owners did. And when they put it up, they put it a foot away from the property line, in my yard, versus the neighbor's yard, that they did not put it exactly on the property line. So what the current neighbors want to do is they want to put the new fence up exactly on the property line. So that's actually going to give me an extra foot along this side of my yard, which would be great because my yard's small to begin with. And they're also going to extend this fence from the back corner all the way to the front corner of their house. So that way it's going to extend along the side of my house, where right now it's just some small trees or some hedges. So there's really no privacy along the side of my house and the side of their house. So it'll be good. It'll put more privacy there. Also, they have a dog, and I know a lot of times I see them in the backyard and they're just trying to make sure the dog stays in their yard. So that's why they want to put like a proper fence up all around their yard to make sure that the dog stays in. So they're also going to be taking down, there's like another wooden fence along the back here, and they're going to be adding other fences on the side. And they want it to look as nice as possible, which is why they contacted me and they said, would it be okay if they took this fence down, because they think it's going to look horrible if there are like two fences like right next to each other. And so I agreed to that. I'm actually looking forward to the new fence. I think it's just going to be nicer. It's going to have more privacy, and it's going to give me a little bit more room. And I told them the only thing I'm concerned about is this corner back here, because if this fence moves like a foot that way, then there's going to be a foot gap between this back fence and this fence. So I just said, please make sure that that gap is filled in, and then I'm okay with that. So that's what's going to be happening sometime in the next few weeks. They said that they still have to get permits, but they already spoke to the fence company and they already had the property line surveyed. So that's how they know where they're going to put the fence and everything. So that is going to be really interesting to see how that is. I'm definitely looking forward to having just a little bit more space. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to affect the current flow of animal traffic, because, back here in this corner, this is where like the cats go under the fence. This is where Stella and her babies and Boo used to come under this fence. So with the new fence, I don't know if it's going to have this clearance underneath it or if it's going to be like lower to the ground. This fence still has some clearance underneath it. So if the cats wanted to like go under this fence, they could still go under that fence. The only difference is now when they go under these fences, like everything is cleared out over here. So it goes to, my neighbor has like a driveway. They still have the open shed where all the mice used to come out of, but I think they've obviously been taking care of the mice situation, which is why I found like the mice dying of poison a year or two ago. But I've been in their yard looking for Sammy, and it extends like way back here, and it's nice now. It's like all grass. They have a garden. Like it's a really nice yard now. It used to be just like completely overgrown. So that's why it used to provide a lot of shelter for animals and a lot of places for them to hide and just kind of create homes. It is 4:37 p.m. and I just got back from the supermarket. Here's Richard and Nancy. And Easter is in a few days, and I just went to the supermarket to just make sure I had what I needed for the holiday. And I've just been really down all day. Like I woke up with a headache, and I drank a ton of water because usually that makes my headaches go away, but I still had the headache. So then I took a bunch of herbal supplements, and I was like, maybe that'll help. And it helped a little bit. And I went to the post office. And then on the way home, I had enough energy to go to the supermarket. So I went to the supermarket thinking I only needed 3 things. But as I was walking around, I realized I might as well just get everything that I need for the holiday while I'm here. Pick up a few things for the cats. So that's what I did. And I'm just so down. Like I was so sad walking around the supermarket. And I don't know, I really couldn't figure out why. I was like, I got a decent amount of sleep last night. And I should feel okay today. But then when I was unloading the groceries, I realized that Easter will be the first holiday without Stella. I mean, yeah, we had Valentine's Day without Stella, but I was, totally stressed out over Sammy being missing, and Stella had passed away only like a week before or less than a week before. So I was still kind of numb and in a daze. And then, St. Patrick's Day, but we don't really celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But Easter is always a celebration, and this is the first time we'll be celebrating a holiday without Stella. So it's really kind of sad. Here's Simba, and I have to make sure he has a decent snack right now so that he's not going to throw up before dinner. Simba, you want crunchies? Or you want a treat? You want some treats, Simba? I gave Nancy some treats, I gave Richard some treats, and I gave Simba some treats, but he's not eating them right now. It is 8 a.m. Here's Simba. Good morning, Simba. How you doing, Simba? So, Simba has not thrown up since he went to the animal hospital. So we're doing good. And the vet that saw him there gave me a call this morning. I could not believe the phone rang at it wasn't even 7:30 yet. And I thought it was like a mistaken phone call. I was like, why are they calling me? I don't owe them any money. I'm paid in full, because I was sleeping when the phone rang. And then I realized, oh, well, maybe the doctor is calling. So then I picked up the phone, and it was the vet that Simba saw. He wanted to go over the other urine test. So Simba actually had 2 urine tests while we were there. The one in the office, and then another one that took longer for them to get the results of, that was more detailed. And so he wanted to go over the results of that one. He said everything looked fine in that, except there was a little bit of protein in the urine. And he wants me to follow up with Simba's vet and have a first thing in the morning urine sample at the vet. But there are several different things that can cause protein in the urine. And Simba's urine was very concentrated because, he hadn't been eating or drinking that day. Also, he had been vomiting. So when you have very concentrated urine, it's easy for protein to be detected in it. So it could just be something like that. Or it could be a UTI, urinary inflammation. But Simba has not shown any symptoms of that or anything. And Simba has just been so happy since he's been back from the vet, and he's doing really well, getting little afternoon snacks. So hopefully it's nothing serious. Right, Simba? Right, Simba? So yesterday I moved this water bowl over here because this is the bowl that the cats like to drink out of. It used to be here. Then I moved it, but I'm putting it back here. The reason why I'm putting it back here is because then I could see very easily on the security camera who's drinking and when are they drinking. And I moved this feeder over here. And as you can see, there's still crunchies in the feeder. There's 2 different types of crunchies. And there's also a little bit of boiled chicken here, which no one wanted to eat. So the fact that this feeder still has crunchies in it and the crunchies have been there all night, it's a good sign. Hello, Boo. Because that means nobody's gorging themselves. Right, Boo? And over here, we still have leftover dinner. So that plate, the full plate in the middle, is what I fed Boo for dinner yesterday. That's Simba's plate. That's Splash's plate. They ate dinner probably around 9 p.m. And then I went to bed a little while after that. That's why the plates are still out. So Boo didn't eat that. And this was Boo's next plate. It has some canned food in it that I pureed up for him. He ate part of that. I don't know who else ate it, maybe Splash, but I know Boo ate part of that. Boo had some crunchies. And then this was another plate. This is the 9 Lives meaty pate. Sometimes Boo enjoys that. So there's some of that left over also. So hopefully Boo ate enough food for dinner last night. I gave him a few varieties to choose from, and now I have to clean all of this up. Thank you for watching this Lucky Ferals video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like me to post more videos, and please make sure to check out these other videos that were selected especially for you.